How's it going, guys? Welcome to Wednesday's upload. I actually had a game on Tumblr, which is kind of an interesting thing. I normally get my battles from streams, but I was like, you know what? I kind of feel like getting some more games because I fucked up like the last 5 saves I got at a stream, and I'm actually running kind of low on videos. But this guy gave me a U-match. Guy was named RawrItsRhys or something like that, and we'll go ahead and jump right into it like right now. Okay, so I don't really think anyone around here has seen me use a Registeel. This is a different Honchkrow as well as a different, I think that might be a different Mew. I'm not 100% on that. And then Umbreon. Umbreon is mainly the thing that I wanted to have going on with this team, because I rarely, if ever, bring dedicated support Pokemon. If you knew me back in like 4th gen, like 2008, 2009, I would just bring like 4 or 5 Life Orbers and then just prayed that, you know, I didn't run into anything too bulky. But I've changed a little bit, you know, I'm trying to change up my playstyle a little bit, and we'll see how it works out. So, he's going to go ahead and lead off with his Mew. I'm going to go ahead and lead off with said Umbreon because I thought that he would actually end up leading with the Flygon, because that's a fairly popular lead, you know, being Scarf. You can go ahead and Protect and see what's going on with the U-turning or whatever move it wants to go for, depending on if, you know, it's feeling lucky or that kind of thing. But it turns out the Mew's just going to go for the Stealth Rock. I was actually kind of fearing the Aura Sphere, which is kind of why I go out into Shaman to take it, you know, and also just go for the Spec Seed Flare on whatever wants to come in. I do see Stealth Rocks instead, which kind of tells me that it's more of a bulkier build, and, you know, because of that, it might actually end up being slower. So I figure I'll try to fire one off, and look at how much it does to Cobalion. That does actually resist that hit. And, you know, I do get the Spec D-Drop as well. I don't know whether or not he's faster, because I don't know if he's running a Jolly Nature. I can assume, but I don't know. And the fact that he kind of switches it out is just like, maybe he is, or maybe he isn't, or maybe he just doesn't want to risk the fact that he might not OHKO with whatever move he'll go for. And that, and having the Spec D-Drop of, you know, 2 stages as opposed to 1 is actually going to be pretty dangerous for him. And it still does a fuck ton to Victini, but I am predicting the Fire move just because Victini's like to do that, you know, physical Victini, V-create, that kind of thing. He's actually running a special one, so I do come in on the Fire move, just not the one I was thinking of, and that actually might come into play a little bit later, just, you know, based on what kind of typing the Victini is. But he's going to go into his Cobalion. I thought he was choiced, so I was like, I'm just going to fucking go for the sub, because why not? And we're actually in a pretty good spot here, because I can go for a +1. I think that's how Flash Fire works. It boosts it by 1 stage, maybe, I don't know. But I got a boosted Fire Blast and its Life Orb as well. But he's going to go for the Stone Edge, and he's going to break my sub, but I'm going to miss my Fire Blast. So I'm like, alright, well, fuck it. I can't even play good anymore. You know, I get a good setup, and I'm just going to go ahead and sack this thing. But he misses his Stone Edge, so instant fucking justice right there. Yes. So, Hax is basically even at that point. You know, he misses his Stone Edge, I miss a Fire Blast, and then things are exactly the way they're supposed to be. Minus a little bit of, actually, you know what? I wouldn't have lost Life Orb anyway. So, that last turn, the last couple turns, kind of a waste. Anyways, here is kind of an interesting play, because I'm pretty sure, looking at my team setup, that he went for the Stone Edge, predicting Flygon. He didn't want that thing coming in, you know, just kind of running amok, just based on what kind of set I could have been. But I could have come in on the predicted Earthquake, and he would have gone for the Stone Edge, which is why he missed that first one, and he's going to go ahead and eat a Shadow Ball. Now, because of the fact that I think he's locked in Stone Edge, and because of the fact that he was predicting my Honchkrow to come in, just based on the fact that I think he's choice, I can go ahead and bring in my Registeel, and he's not really going to want to go for that. But because I know that's his only ground type, I know I can go for T-Wave on just about anything, and hopefully catch something on the switch. It turns out I actually end up catching Victini on the switch, so Victini's going to be paralyzed. And because I've seen Fire Blast, I can't assume right off the bat that he's fully special, but I can kind of go on that chance and then just go for the Stealth Rocks anyway. But if he does have V-Create, at least it's good knowledge, and I do have my Honchkrow left, so we can kind of go with that. But he decides to go for, you know, Fire Blast. Maybe that does turn out to be the only fire move he has. But because I'm specially bulky, I'm actually able to live this set, as opposed to if he went for a physical move, being a physical Victini, or if he does actually happen to be a mixed set, you know, I probably wouldn't have lived that hit. But I'm going to go for the Iron Head. I believe that was a critical hit, and I do end up getting a flinch here. But it doesn't really end up mattering, because I'm aiming just to get to the point where I can get him to a low amount of HP and then just take him out with something else. But, or maybe it was just take him out with Seismic Toss. I was feeling pretty good on the idea that I would be able to take him out from there. I guess I don't know my HP ranges at sight, because it leaves him with, like, I don't even know how much that is. That's got to be like 12 or something. It's not like a super smidgelet, but it's like a step above. So he's probably got like 10 HP or something. I really don't know. But To double down thanks to that, so he's going to go ahead and bring in his Flygon. I believe I bring in my Umbreon at this point just so I can be able to go ahead and protect, just like I wanted to do on the first turn, see what he's going to go ahead and lock himself in on, if he's going to go for like the Earthquake or the U-turn or whatever that happens to be. But I believe that's what ends up happening as he goes into his Shaman. Now, Subseeding Shaman actually does give me a lot of trouble, and it gives my opponents a lot of trouble too. So if that's what this thing actually ends up being, then I need to be careful. But I see that my lefties go first, so maybe it's not a fully subseeding one. But I do see Leech Seed, nonetheless. So I'm actually going to go ahead and Wish, and then just pass it on to something else that will probably want to take a Seed Flare, or a Hidden Power, or maybe even another Leech Seed. Something that can deal with Shaman. And the only thing I really have to deal with Shaman on my team is my other Shaman, or my Shaman as opposed to whatever. You get it. You get it. So I'm going out into my Shaman, and if he does predict it and go for that Hidden Power, which will probably be super effective since the ones of choice that I see are Ice and Fire, it probably won't kill me just because Shaman's got natural bulk, and I'll be able to get back to relatively near full with the Wish and whatnot. Now, the thing I wasn't really factoring is that I saw Life Orb right here, but I didn't really think about the risk that could have happened if he did happen to be Timid too, and this did happen to be a Speed tie. But if he had HP Fire, I think I have HP Ice on my Shaman, so that is probably going to be the reason for, no Speed tie. I don't know what happened there, but I felt safe for it, and I went for it, and I was like, why the fuck not? Especially because I'm Specs, and he's just Life Orb. I had a better chance of living his Hidden Power than he did mine. So, it turns out it O-code him from full health, and I know even if my Hidden Power is Ice or Fire, I still really don't know what that fucking Shaman, despite that I said it's probably just going to end up being Ice. I don't know what it is, but it's not going to hit Slowbro too good. So, I decided to go out into Vaporeon on the off chance he's going to go ahead and, go for status of choice, on fucking Toxic or T-Wave or a Scald, and then maybe synchronize that too. Turns out he just goes for Fire Blast, which is useful for catching Steel types off guard like Cobalion and Registeel and that kind of thing, I guess. Even in Standard, you can use it against Ferrothorn. But I decided to go for the Toxic here as he brings in his Flygon. And what I can do here is I can just go ahead and protect to stall out for an extra Toxic turn. I think it'll kill him off at the end of the next turn, so this next one's kind of self-explanatory. But if you want to recap, I've got Umbreon, and I believe I have Mew, and I have a couple other things too. I know I have Umbreon, I have Mew, I have Shaman, and I have Honchkrow, I believe. So he's going to go ahead and die here. And all he has left is he has a Mew and a Slowbro. Now the situation I have in mind is that they're both Psychic types. If I can bring in my Honchkrow safely, the game is going to be completely fucking set from there. But he decides to go for a Roost for whatever reason. I don't really know what he was expecting here, but Stealth Rocks, Roost, maybe U-turn and Taunt for Lead Mew. I don't really know. But I'm going to go for the Toxic just because I kind of want to get this thing paralyzed. That and I have Heal Bell on this guy, so I don't really care if Synchronize happens. But the thing that happens with Synchronize here is similar to the same thing that would happen with Magic Bounce for anyone that actually ends up questioning that. If you go for a T-Wave between two Magic Bounce Pokemon, will it bounce back forever? No, the ability only activates once, and then it just kind of goes back to the other thing. So there's kind of a thing, a talking point, I guess. But in comes the Slowbro, and I think I tried to go for I go for Heal Bell right here. And I think it's at this point that he runs because he realizes that he's not going to be able to outstall me with this thing. I'll be able to outstall his post, that kind of thing. And I kind of wanted to bring in Honchkrow just to, get some Scarf Moxie action going on. It was a Scarf Honchkrow. But he decides, just to cut it a couple turns short. And that's going to be the game anyway. So if you guys enjoyed this, you are welcome to leave a like rating, comment, subscribe, do your thing. I've been working all of yesterday and all of today on the Cypher, which I know it is my turn and it is being eagerly anticipated by a couple of people. So letting you know that that's coming up pretty soon, maybe as soon as next week. I'm not going to hold any promises there, but it's coming along pretty good. So I think that's really the only update I have for you guys. So I'll let you go, and you have a good Wednesday, and I will see you guys tomorrow.